I got plenty of guesses as to what I'd review next. Sly, Jex, Pac-Man World. Nope, sorry. The next 3 weeks, I'll be dedicating to one of my favorite shows of all time. And it's gonna be
easy like Sunday morning.
I am the TheStimpyland, traveling into parts unknown. Now come with me. Join me on my journey to do things. Away I go!
Before we start, I want to let everyone watching this know that this video is completely fair use. If this video gets taken down for copyright, expect it to go right back up. If my channel gets taken down as a result, I'll start up a new one and this will be the first thing that goes. Okay, I don't give a fucking shit what anyone says because SpongeBob is goddamn amazing. So if you've never heard of SpongeBob SquarePants,
who are you people?
What's wrong with you? The show is amazing!
SpongeBob SquarePants is a Nickelodeon cartoon that started back in the early 2000s, and it was a huge success, and for good reason. I'd say that SpongeBob was completely deserving of his fame, since SpongeBob SquarePants was, to me, a perfect show. Well, okay, maybe not perfect, since perfect is kinda a meaningless word, but a masterpiece. Yeah, that describes SpongeBob pretty damn well. SpongeBob SquarePants was a masterpiece of a show. It is timeless, it is truly amazing. Everything about the show was great, the music, the characters, the animation, the writing, it was all just a fucking masterpiece. I honestly can't name a single bad episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, it was just a masterpiece. Every single joke landed, the sad parts were sad, the hilarious parts were hilarious, and the show is just so good. SpongeBob is a huge part of my childhood, and really just a huge part of, like, me.
'Cause you and me, we're like brothers, only closer.
I mean, like, I love Spyro, you guys obviously know that, and I don't think I'll have to rap a second time to emphasize that to you, but as much as I love Spyro, I think I love SpongeBob just a little bit more. If you're one of those people that thinks that SpongeBob is stupid and it's just for kids, then I kinda suggest that you take a long walk off a short cliff. I'm sorry, don't do that, I was kidding, seriously, don't do that. SpongeBob is not for kids, alright? It may be kid-friendly, meaning kids can enjoy it, but it's not specifically for kids. In the same way that Spyro and Crash aren't for kids, they're just kid-friendly. Adults can enjoy Spyro and Crash too, and adults can especially enjoy SpongeBob because, oh my god, the show is so funny. Go watch it already, I don't care how you do it, just go torrent it using www.online.net and go torrent it. If I had to choose what my all-time, hands down, no questions asked, favorite show was, it would probably be, you guessed it, Breaking Bad.
Walter, you're never gonna see him again.
That's what you think. I'm gonna get a gun, I'm gonna go to his house and shoot him in the head. You hear me? I do!
Oh, why not SpongeBob? Because Season 4 and every succeeding season exists. Yeah, SpongeBob is a fucking masterpiece for the first 3 seasons, but then after the movie, things really went downhill. I myself am not a particularly huge fan of the movie, don't worry, I'll get to that soon enough, but I can agree with most people when they say that everything SpongeBob that is also post-movie is total trash. God, this show is fucking awful now. SpongeBob Seasons 4 and on are just one of those shows that I can't watch. I just cannot stand to watch it for more than 10 seconds. Even if someone is making fun of it, I just can't watch it. I now understand all those people who hate the Star Wars prequel so much it gives them PTSD. SpongeBob Seasons 4 and on are officially my Star Wars prequels. I can't even call this SpongeBob. Like, I don't know what horrible satanic creature this is, but it is not SpongeBob. It's Spangbob. Yeah. From now on, anything SpongeBob that is post-movie will be referred to as Spangbob. Okay, wait. What the fuck is this font? What is this? Can we fix this, please? There we go. Now, I could literally go on for fucking hours about how great and amazing SpongeBob was, but I'd only be wasting your time, because all it would take you is to watch 1 or 2 episodes of the show and you would know exactly why it's so great. Although, I will warn you, this video will only be a taste to how much I love SpongeBob, so be ready for a lot of nostalgia talk and shit. Since SpongeBob was so goddamn successful, there was a lot of merchandise, and I'm talking a lot of merchandise. Toys, books, t-shirts, whatever the hell has these Japanese kids so damn excited.
Happy set に SpongeBob 金曜から
and most importantly, the reason we're here today, lots of kick-ass video games. SpongeBob had tons of games back then. They weren't super popular or anything, but they were by no means in any sort of short supply. So now, we'll be covering the first ever game SpongeBob was in, which is some PS1 game called Nicktoons Racing. Okay, so now I'll be reviewing the first ever licensed SpongeBob game, which is Legend of the Lost Spatula on Game Boy Color. So I'm gonna review the first ever licensed SpongeBob game to be put onto a console, which is SpongeBob SquarePants Super Sponge. I'm doing this one. SpongeBob SquarePants Revenge of the Flying Dutchman is the first ever SpongeBob game that I played. It was also the first 3D SpongeBob game ever made, and is what I consider to be the first true SpongeBob game. No, I don't fucking care about Operation Downton Abbey. This is the first SpongeBob game that was actually kind of decent, so this will be the first of the trilogy I review. Yes, there were SpongeBob games before and after these three, and I might cover some of them eventually, but for now I'm gonna stick with the three that I consider to be the best of the SpongeBob games: Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, Battle for Bikini Bottom, and the SpongeBob movie game. Developed by Big Sky Interactive and published by THQ, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman was a 3D platformer. But with SpongeBob! The game was first released in November of 2002 for the PS2, and in just a month got a port to the GameCube. I'm taking a look at the PS2 version. This was the last game to be developed by Big Sky Interactive, a company that developed a grand total of 2 games. This and that creepy Jimmy Neutron game on PS2. Good lord, that is some horrifying shit right there. Well, enough trivia, time to start up the game. Something I did notice, however, before I even started the game, is that this game was developed on a CD-ROM, instead of your typical DVD. CD-ROMs were much cheaper to print on, but also couldn't hold as much memory. This might come up later. Spoiler alert, it will. So the first thing we're treated to is the theme song. Interesting. After the theme song ends, we're greeted to a little title card that says Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. This game is basically treated like an episode of the show. I really like this idea. The entire game is treated like a new episode of the show, meaning it isn't forced to follow a set story, but can instead create its own, which I am so fucking glad that it did. The story is pretty simplistic. The story is that SpongeBob is just relaxing at home when he decides he wants to play fetch with Gary. SpongeBob throws his stick to Gary and Gary goes to get the stick, but then comes back with the treasure chest, which SpongeBob then opens. As he opens the chest, gold doubloons fall out and spread everywhere. Eventually, SpongeBob finds that the treasure is a bottle, which he then tries to clean off. By doing this, he has awoken the Flying Dutchman, who's pissed that all of his doubloons are missing. The Flying Dutchman decides that he will get his revenge by abducting all of SpongeBob's friends. So now it is your job as SpongeBob to stop him and save your friends. Okay, I'm gonna cut into this review, and I don't care that it's I don't care that this is completely not relevant, but I'm in a call with Pat Strikes Back, and he's hearing, you can't hear him, but he's listening to me as I'm saying this, and when I mentioned the Jimmy Neutron game on PS2, he literally just flew onto Amazon and bought it. Like, I'm not even making this up right now. The story is very simple and pretty boring, but thankfully it's pulled together by the classic voice acting and the superb writing.
Hold it right there, you thieving little scallop! Aren't you the one who's been digging around in my booty?
Oh, do you mean the booty stuffed in the crack of the ship? No, I don't know anything about that.
It was probably the Dutchman again. His booty is bigger than anyone's, but he still comes out here to get his hands on even more. He just can't get enough booty!
So after the first cutscene, we get to play, and oh my god, we can explore Bikini Bottom! So right off the bat, there are some questions in order. What is all this jimble jam? This game is a collectathon 3D platform, and there are plenty of little items to gather, like gold doubloons and jellyfish, but the main collectible of this game are these letter tiles. There are 8 of these letters in each level, and when combined they spell out SpongeBob's name and lead you to a bonus stage. In a bonus stage, you have to solve a puzzle under a time limit. After completing the puzzle, you return back to the world, this time donning a treasure hunting costume, which helps you find the hidden treasure. There are 7 levels in total, and each has a hidden treasure. After getting all of the treasures, you get to face the Flying Dutchman. It's a very simple setup, but the means which you obtain these letters can vary greatly. The main gimmick of this game are the costumes. Costumes, I hear you ask? Yes, in each level there are these costume tents, which let you choose between 4 different costumes. There are the Squarepants, which just act as your regular stock outfit, the Jellyfishing Gear, which lets you catch jellyfish, the Reef Blower, which lets you push certain objects and also activate fans, and lastly, your Mermaid Man costume, where you get to run around as Mermaid Man, lifting up heavy objects and throwing water balls at your enemies. Each of these costumes vary from one another, and you have to use each to solve puzzles, reach areas, and fulfill objectives that give you the letters. There are 2 additional costumes as well. One is the Treasure Hunting outfit, which helps you locate the hidden treasure of a level after you've gathered all 8 letters and solved the puzzle, and the other is your Karate Gear, which can be used in certain minigames to win letters. Each of these levels are locations from the show. The first level is Bikini Bottom, but after that comes Downtown Bikini Bottom, Sandy's Tree Dome, Jellyfish Fields, Chum World, Plankton's Amusement Park, Goo Lagoon, and lastly the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard. The levels lack in variety between each other, but make up for it by just looking fucking beautiful. Let me just say that the artists knew what they were doing. These levels look fucking gorgeous for a CD-ROM PS2 game. Not dingy, swampy, icky, gross, dark blech, but rather bright, colorful, detailed, and very nice. I mean, for shit's sake, look at these levels! How can you not fall in love? Look at the colors, look at the detail, look at how vibrant everything is. My favorite part of the whole game might just be this part in Downtown Bikini Bottom called the High Rise. For shit's sake, just look at the colors, just look at the calm orange glow. It looks so serene and peaceful, but also so damn colorful, and just look at it! It's beautiful! In fact, I'd say that is this game's biggest strength. It stays very loyal to the TV show, and it captures the charm and personality of the show so well. The great writing and the original voice cast also really help, but the level design alone is enough for me to fall in love. Remember Sandy's Tree Dome? It's a fully explorable level. How damn awesome is that? Being able to explore all these locations from the show was the coolest thing in the world for me as a kid. These artists knew what they were doing. This game's loyalty to its source material is easily its biggest strength. Unfortunately, while the artists knew what they were doing, the game developers didn't. They were kinda clueless. As great as the environments and the character models do look, the animations for them are really bad. The awkward, stiff, robotic animations on the models look laughably stupid and almost kind of creepy. Also, since it is a CD-ROM game, it's working with some pretty limited memory. While in the early levels it doesn't present a problem, in the later and much larger levels, where the game becomes much more intensive, the frame rate can chug quite a bit, to the point where it becomes very distracting. The music isn't very memorable either. I found the music to be irritating and repetitive, and I don't find the soundtrack annoying but rather just repetitive. Each of the individual songs was actually quite nice, but good god are they overplayed! None of the levels have their own songs except for Chum World and the Flying Dutchman's Graveyard. The only time the music changes is with the different costumes. Anytime you're wearing the Squarepants, the plain old Bikini Bottom music plays, and god damn this song gets annoying. You're in Downtown Bikini Bottom, this song plays. You're in Jellyfish Fields, this song plays. You're in Goo Lagoon and you're getting chased by a motherfucking gigantic boat as people are screaming and bits of the fucking bridge are flying everywhere? This music still plays. Music that varies between levels is so important in a platformer. Part of the reason Spyro 1 is my favorite game of all time is the soundtrack. Imagine how much Spyro 1 would suck if every single level played the title theme. Or what if every single song in Crash Twinsanity sounded exactly the same? Even the music that I liked still got annoying. Each of the songs is only around 2 minutes long, but they will loop for hours. Part of the reason these levels feel like they lack in variety is because there are no original level themes, except for the last 2 levels of the game. This really strips the game down. A lack of variety in the levels makes the game feel bland and stale. It's such a shame because look at how goddamn gorgeous some of these levels look. They capture the show's charm almost fucking perfectly, but they are ruined by this monotonous music. Like, I can't get over this. The fact that the Bikini Bottom bland music is playing during this. Look at how fucking insane this is, and listen to how bland this music is. Like, could they get something fast, or intense, or loud, or just anything that's not this? I think my favorite songs in this game were the Karate Gear and Treasure Hunting themes, and that's only because they were the songs that played the least. I could also go on forever about the camera. The camera in this game is awful. It's pretty much just random. I feel like at any time the camera is going to become self-aware and go on a rogue search for its true purpose. This camera pretty much just has a mind of its own. It swivels around at random, it sometimes just starts slowly rotating for some reason, it randomly decides to go in first person, and it is constantly getting stuck on shit. There's no quick button to center the camera behind you, which would be really nice. The whole game also just feels very unnatural. The controls are a little stiff and sluggish. Spongebob jumps don't feel like they have any real weight to them, and it's often difficult to accurately land your jumps. The enemies don't feel like enemies, but instead obstacles. There's no real satisfaction from getting all of the doubloons or all of the jellyfish, since the game does nothing to reward you for getting an extra 100%. No secret ending, no extra concept art, not even an NES-style congratulations. In fact, just the regular old ending is boring. Like, okay, I'm just gonna show you the ending of this game. Just look at this for a second. If you're afraid of spoilers, then just skip to this part of the video, but I seriously doubt you'll care. Just watch the ending of this game for me.
Shiver me
are we going now, Spongebob?
I don't know, Patrick. What do you think, Mr. Krabs?
To the Krusty Krab, everyone, for a feast like no other!
Oh, Mr. Krabs, I'm so happy.
Yee-haw! That's what I call a celebration.
Yay! Yaha! Woo-hoo-hoo! Of course, you know this is coming out of your paychecks.
That's it. It's seriously not worth it at all. The ending is so underwhelming. Although this game's biggest flaw by far is that it completely fails to acknowledge the player. The objective is almost never clear. This game is pretty easy, and the only real challenge comes from finding out what the hell I'm supposed to do. One of this game's key features is a to-do list in the pause menu. It is a lifesaver. Without it, I would have no clue what I'm supposed to do. But even with the to-do list, I still get lost. I had to, on more than one occasion, go to GameFAQs.com to find out what I had to do. Not how to get all the doubloons or all the jellyfish, but just how to find out how to fulfill the basic objective of the level. This game also does nothing to punish you when you die. Dying in the game is supposed to be the end-all final stop. Dying should be the worst thing to happen to you in a game. But in this game, there is no punishment for dying. There's no life count or anything. In fact, oftentimes I would kill myself just to teleport back to the last checkpoint, which I would like to point out are quite frequent. Suicide is the easy way out here.
Just like in real life.
This game is really nostalgic to me, and I loved it so much as a kid. This game definitely has its redeemable qualities, the most notable of which would be its loyalty to its source material. But at the same time, the only real way to enjoy Revenge of the Flying Dutchman is to be a huge fan of the source material. It's not a very competent platformer. At all. The collectibles don't feel satisfying, the enemies don't feel like they're really there, the ending is seriously underwhelming, and the objective is almost always unclear, and it does nothing to punish the player. Does Revenge of the Flying Dutchman hold up? As much as I want to say yes, because of how nostalgic and just goddamn beautiful this game is, sadly, I don't think that it does. Does that necessarily make it a bad game? No, I wouldn't call this game bad. It's nowhere near as bad as some critics make it out to be, but it's not very good either. Battle for Bikini Bottom, on the other hand, we'll just have to wait until next week to see. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.